experiment today is called the moment before. And I love this because what it does is it gives us a way to shift our state very, very quickly. Now, as ever, this is an experiment. And so what that means is you're letting yourself have an experience. So you have firstly the experiment to try and see if you can have this experience with the moment before. And also you're using it to get to know how you approach doing something new, something unknown. And as a result of that, you're wanting to let something arrive, you're wanting to allow mistakes. There isn't really any getting it wrong or right. There's just discovering a bit better how you work. This moment before exercise, at least that I know of, it comes from two sources. The first is from dream work. I spent a long time working with dream work, and the moment before is a way that you can work with dreams. It's a way that I mean, it's part of a bigger system, of course, but it is a way that if you identify something challenging in a dream, you can go to the moment just before, and very often you will find something quite magical there, or at least very, very different. So a lot of experience working with it like that. The second source is from a book called Audition by Michael Shirtlier. It's a wonderful book. And he is, I believe I'm right in saying, a casting director. And he uses this as a way to tell actors who are going for an audition to prepare. And that's a good place to start, because what he's effectively saying is that when we arrive at a particular moment, there is something that's just gone on before. And if we get into the state ourselves of whatever it was that was happening just before, it will shift our state in this present moment. Now, maybe that's a little bit confusing the way I've explained it. It's actually a lot easier to do. So imagine that I'm coming to record a video and I'm feeling, as I often do, a bit nervous and a bit sort of low energy because I get anxious in these sorts of situations. So what I do there is I imagine I've just come out of a conversation with a really good friend who's just been telling me how much they've appreciated something I've done for them. Or a client who's just told me that they've just had this wonderful opening for themselves in their life. So as you can see, even as I'm talking about it there, you can perhaps see that my energy shifted a little bit more. And it really is as simple as that. And that's the challenge of it as well. It is so easy to do. So why don't we experiment with it like this? Why don't you have a go at just noticing where you're at right now, very quickly, just running through, what you're aware of in your body, in your mind, in your emotions. And then just think about something really positive where you've just had a wonderful experience in the past. It could be imaginary as well. And just see if you can let yourself drop into that. Did you find something? So when I was doing the same thing, I actually dropped into a moment. Didn't try and think of anything. I just let something come. And what came was a moment of really intense laughter that I had with a friend recently, where just something happened. They made a joke, and we were both just so sort of lost in the amusement of it. Now, what I noticed in my body, having done that, is that I've got this kind of lightness. I can feel it behind my eyes. I can feel it in my chest and my stomach. And I feel a sort of relaxedness which has come through me. Is that a word? I hope so. So really, that's it. I mean, I would be interested if we were working together. I would be interested in finding out about what your experience is, and perhaps as you're still here now, you can just have a think. What actually happened for you? Did you have a sense of being able to connect to that moment? Did you notice yourself struggling, trying to make it something happen and nothing happening? Did you find a memory and then get lost in that memory? What actually happened for you? And this is the most interesting bit. It's a great technique, by the way, so it's definitely worth playing with and exploring. But in terms of the experiment, the interesting bit is what happened. Did you react against it? Did you go, oh no, this is not for me, I can't do this, or I don't like what you're saying, this doesn't make any sense, I don't get it? If you had a reaction like that, is that a habitual one? Now, this is the strength really of doing an experiment like this. Let's try it again. And let's sit down and pick something else. Pick another moment. And perhaps, no, let's do it like this. Let's think of something which is mildly challenging in your life. Okay, I always love the idea of the Goldilocks sort of level of challenge. We don't want to do something that's so big that we don't want to work with something that's so big that it's just going to be immediate overwhelm. We don't want to work with something that's so small that we don't care about it at all. We want to find something which is got a little bit of challenge in it, something that we challenge a little bit by, but that's not going to blow us out of the water. So have a little think of something like that. Just letting myself find that. Well, you can see, did you see me find it? Okay. Take a breath. So I've got a sort of working with an estate agent at the moment to do something for me. And it's not been entirely straightforward, let's put it like that. And so I noticed that I really have a bit of a sinking feeling when I think about dealing with it. Okay, so that's the challenge. Not too serious, but serious enough. And what's the moment before that would actually help me? Say I'm going to have a phone call or work on this stuff. What's a moment before that's actually going to help me with that? Okay, so this is an example of actually an imaginary one. And again, I just let something arrive. And this imaginary one is just having come out of a meeting. Now, I know I've done something like this, but I can't place it exactly what the meeting is. But the feeling state is there, having just come out of a meeting, having said what I wanted to say, having been a bit difficult, but having really advocated for myself and for what I was wanting to talk about. And again, maybe you can see a little bit, I certainly can feel it, having got in touch with that. I'm using my body a bit differently. My hands, although they're not really in screen, have got a lot more energy in them. And I feel a kind of slight, it's not bracing exactly, but a slight readiness more in my belly and abdomen. My energy is lower. And so I could do that before I actually have a call with this person. And you see how quick the shift can be, how quick it can actually move us from one state to another. Now, it can work when we're in a very difficult space, and perhaps you may find that an easy place to work. Sometimes it doesn't work for me when I'm really challenged. Sometimes it does. But this experimental frame that we're exploring with these experiments and with this one, with the moment before, gives us the opportunity to try things out in our daily life rather than having to always just do what we've done with the best hope that we're going to get the result that we want. And that's really what I want to open to the possibility of, that we can actually, in our daily lives, take this attitude of experimentation into our daily lives, have a better time, because experimenting is really interesting, really fun, and brings up that possibility of exciting new stuff happening. We can do that. And also, my personal experience and people I've worked with has been, we get better results. We waste less time on doing stuff. So this is the moment before. There are many, many more ways to use it. You can use it as we did today, just to shift your state a little bit, or in preparation for something that you've got ahead of you. And whatever you do going forward today, I hope it's a good one.